Hi, so I'm going to be doing the one belief at a time worksheet. I have it right here. This is from Byron Katie. Because I would say that she's a teacher, and she teaches a technique called the work, also called inquiry. It's about questioning beliefs that are causing you suffering and bothering you, or problematic beliefs. And by questioning them, you begin to understand and um, see that there's a kind of a what the story going on behind them is, and they begin to kind of fall apart in many ways. Um, so it's a really simple technique, but I found it really helpful personally, and so I just wanted to film myself doing it, so I feel like I have someone to talk to and actually am properly questioning these beliefs that are causing me difficulty. Um, so the one belief at a time worksheet, um, it basically tells you to write down a stressful belief. It could be a statement from a judge your neighbor worksheet, which is another worksheet that's a bit more involved, where you write more beliefs out, but otherwise same technique. It's a stressful belief about another person you haven't forgiven, any stressful thought at all. And then when they say when you do this one belief at a time worksheet, you also want to try to anchor yourself in a real situation. Like, not just say, oh, I have this belief, but like, when did it happen? What were you doing? How did you feel? And then after that, you will question the concept in writing. So you'll use these questions that they have. There's only 4 questions, and then something called a turnaround. And then when you answer the questions, you're just supposed to close your eyes, be still, and witness what appears to you. Okay, so getting started with the belief that I want to question. The situation where this happened it was actually this morning. I was in bed. The alarm had gone off, but I wasn't really getting out of bed, kind of feeling like, lazy, and I could feel myself getting anxious and saying, hey, if you're not productive, I guess the belief kind of going on in my mind was, hey, if you're not productive today, it's going to be a bad day. You're not going to be happy. So the belief that I have, I kind of wrote it as, I need to be productive to be happy today. And where it happened was I was sitting in bed, not wanting to get out of bed. Alarm had gone off. And so that's the belief. Once you have the belief written, you go through the 4 questions. The 4 questions, I'll go through them one by one, and then you'll do a turnaround. So the first question is it true? Is this belief true? And you're only supposed to answer this question with a 1-word answer, yes or no. And you're supposed to kind of be still and feel what answer comes out when you pose this question. There's no right or wrong answer. So yes or no, whatever answer appears for you is the right answer. So when I say this belief, I need to be productive to be happy today. I feel like no is the answer. No. What appears for me, I think what got me to that no, I feel like being productive and being happy are not very strongly related. In that there are plenty of times that I've been productive and not been happy, and there's times I've been happy and not productive. And I feel like those two are not related, so it's not true that I need to be productive to be happy today. In fact, I can be happy either way. I think happiness is not dependent on a belief of how productive I am. The second one is like, it feels to me like productive is subjective. Like, what does it mean, productive in what way? If you do the wrong things super productively, does that matter? No, is my answer there. So I feel like those two things really appeared when I answered no. Is do I need to be productive to be happy today? The answer for me there is no. The second belief, you're only supposed to do the second question if you give an answer of yes to the first one, the first question. But I'll go over it anyway. The second question is, can you absolutely know that it's true? So if I had said yes to I need to be productive to be happy today, can you absolutely know that it's true? Can you be certain that it's true that you need to be productive in order to be happy today? And that's always a really powerful question, because can you absolutely know it? And usually, even if you're feeling like a yes on the first one, a lot of times for me, the second question, when I really think about it, can I be absolutely sure that this belief is true? And it usually turns out to be no. So the third question is about seeing how this belief affects you. So it's about, how do you react? What happens when I believe this thought that in order, I need to be productive to be happy today? How do I react when I believe that thought? Like, what emotions arise? What images do I see? How do I treat myself and others? Are some of the other prompts. I feel myself in bed in the situation, and I feel really guilty. So I just feel guilty about not getting up. I feel sad. I feel like low energy. I feel like really hard on myself, really punishing of myself, really judgmental. I don't feel good about myself when I believe this thought that I need to be productive to be happy. And the fact is, like, if I'm staking my happiness on being productive, which is a fickle thing, just like, oh, well, then there's no way I can be happy because I'm not being productive. And so it makes me unhappy, which is kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy of like, oh, the only way I'll be happy is if I'm productive. I'm not being productive, thus I'm not happy. And so it just feels sad and like hopeless, and it demotivates me. If I wanted to be productive, I'm not in the right state to be productive anyway. And what images do I see? I see myself like being lazy, sitting on the couch, watching, like, using the internet, wasting my time. All of that appears. I feel even more guilty, and it just magnifies itself. So that's the question, is how do I react when I believe that thought? You can see it has a lot of like self-fulfilling prophecies. It does not, it's definitely a lot of suffering going on there. The fourth question though, let's move on. I feel like I've gotten out of the reaction what I needed. Who would you be without the thought, I need to be productive to be happy today? So who would I be without the thought, I need to be productive to be happy today? I feel like I could just be open and peaceful and like in the moment and accepting of whatever's happening, whatever's going on. I could love it. I could be loving. I would not be guilty or like constantly being like, oh no, you shouldn't be doing this, you should be doing that, or this is a waste of time. I wouldn't be judging everything I'd be doing. In fact, I could actually enjoy what I'm doing and find the productiveness in whatever's happening. So if I didn't have this thought, like imagine this thought had never even crossed my mind, like I need to be productive to be happy today. And I think of like, just people like living their lives and doing, like, it's their life, they're living it, they're not worried about being productive or not. It's just the moment there, they're living it, things are happening and passing by. That's really powerful, just to be like, hey, this thought is causing much difficulty and problems, but look where I would be without it. The last part of this questioning your beliefs or inquiry is about turning it around. What the turnaround means is you actually look for the opposite statement, the opposite of this belief, and then you look at it and you see how the opposite could be as true or even truer in this situation that you're thinking about. So here I am sitting in bed. I need to be productive to be happy today. What would be the one of the turnarounds of this belief is I don't need to be productive to be happy today. So I'm just writing this down so I can see this belief. And kind of like all the things I was talking about before, that feels, my reaction is like, is that true? I feel like yes, like I kind of already pointed out that being productive and being happy don't matter. They're not connected in that sense. And so, like, yes, I can be happy without being productive. I can be productive without being happy, and that's true. I've seen that in my life many times. So this belief that's causing me suffering while I'm sitting in bed this morning is definitely not, the opposite is equally or truer. So let's try another turnaround and see what other turnarounds can appear here. This is just like different ways of stating this belief and in kind of the different ways, like kind of turning it around and stating not the opposite or something very opposed to what this belief says. I need to be productive to be happy today. So I would say that one other turnaround here that came up is to be productive, or no, sorry, to be happy. To be productive, I need to be happy. And so instead of happiness depending on productivity, it's productivity depends on happiness. Like trying to think, that's kind of a really interesting one. And like, if you're miserable sitting in bed and having all these awful thoughts, judging yourself, like it's not a great way to start the day, and you're not going to be motivated or want to do anything if those are the beliefs that you're believing while you're sitting in bed. So it's like the opposite. It's like, hey, in order to be productive, you need to be happy first. So it's not the causal relationship there is like happiness then productivity, not productivity then happiness, which is how I used to be thinking about it. But that's a really powerful turnaround, just thinking about how like happiness is the ground for any, like it's the ground I want in my life, and it will spur all of these things, but these things won't come from the way I'm thinking about it, which is like, if I have this, then I'll be happy. You'll never get to happiness with that conditional thinking. It's like almost like happiness is unconditional, it's existing. And then, you'll whether you're productive or not, though, it doesn't really matter. Like you can still be happy. So those are some of the turnarounds. No more turnarounds are appearing to me, but those two were really, really interesting ones that kind of made me think about it this belief in a very different way. So that's the one belief at a time worksheet. I just had one belief, anchored myself in a moment, went through the 4 questions, did the turnaround. And I've found this, even just questioning this one belief is really helpful, because this is one that reappears all the time for me, when I'm just like relaxing or not doing something that I would see as like, oh, this isn't productive. I would feel guilty about it. But I realize that like, that this is so separate from what I really want, that it's like, it's really counterproductive. It causes me a lot of suffering. I would be much happier without the belief, and it's not even true. The opposites of this are even more true. So that's the one belief at a time worksheet. Thanks for listening along with me.